It's a big responsibility, isn't it, really? Looking after somebody else's work. I don't usually have the nail-biting thing on watching this.
It can be nail-biting.
Because all my hard work's in your hands.
Yes, this is where it could all go horribly wrong.
Yes, and then I'd have to kill you. Oh, there he is. Why on earth did I have to be a sculptor? I hate making armatures. I hate it.
Have you been sculpting for a long time?
Well, yes, I suppose so. But there was a big interruption. I went to Goldsmiths College and I was there for 5 years. Then I went to Royal College and I was there for 2 years. I was a student for a long time. I got married in 1953 when I was a student. And I suppose later on, when we had children, I didn't do work really. And I only came back to working as a sculptor in 1985, which Gordon died in 84, and I realised that I knew what I wanted to do with my life, so went back to being a sculptor. Suddenly it was like, you know, cork coming out of a bottle. I mean, you know, so there were so many things I wanted to do. Being in the village, there was there's a lot of subject matter. You know, the animals. There was the local pig farm. So I started off doing animal sculptures, but I found it wasn't really enough. I love doing the animals, and I think they're very beautiful and full of energy, and, you know, as I say, I really love doing them, but I couldn't express ideas. I like watching the birds out there. There's nothing to do with work, but I love watching them. They're having a bath. And I think it was Mike that he suggested that I did the Minotaur, which is kind of part animal, part person. I think I've got Minotauritis. That's my drawing area.
Since you started, you've always been in the same studio?
It's the only studio I've ever known. As I said, it was Gordon's studio. Right. He was a painter, very, very good painter. Brilliant, actually. But he wouldn't let me in as a sculptor because he said sculptors are messy. Which is true, I suppose. Yeah.
So do they take on a sort of personality for you as they develop? Do they take on a personality?
Yes, that's got a personality now. This one hasn't yet. People say to me, how long does it take you to do a piece? And I find that doing small pieces actually take me a lot longer than large pieces, because you can really, with a large piece, you can really get to grips with it, you know, and bash it. Whereas this, it's sort of fiddly, and my fingers are no longer very, very good, so it becomes quite difficult. It could take just a week. It depends on all sorts of things. For one thing, it depends on how I'm feeling for a start. Give it a fortnight then.
And you come in every day when you feel...
I try to.
Yeah.
I think the thing to establish first of all is the kind of movement, you know, and then kind of modify it. What did I do with my stick? Oh, it's behind you. I say clay is friendly, but that's how I injured my arm. Carrying a heavy pot of clay. It's a unicorn. Unicorns in a garden eating flowers, as they would. Unicorns were nice creatures, but they had a rather bad time, I think, because they were trapped and hunted. The story is that unicorns could be tamed by young ladies. So the young ladies would go into the forest, tempt the unicorns to come out, and the hunters would kill them or trap them and sort of put them into, you know, put them into a cage or something.
And how long has the unicorn myth been around?
Oh, ages. Really, really. It's certainly medieval, but it's even before that. Yes. And there is a kind of religious association with the unicorn. I'm not quite sure what it is, but that was to do with a medieval thing. Anyway, I don't think those young ladies were very nice. The thing you should never do is try to explain a piece to somebody. I think you have to let them have their own interpretation of it. Because I've done that in the past and completely put somebody off. I'm trying to decide how to have this head, to have him looking up, and to have I quite like it sort of rough.
Yeah.
But I know that there comes a time when you actually, there's a sort of division between it being right and it being overdone. I don't want to get to that. I actually quite like this kind of, the roughness of it, but I don't know, I might not leave it like that.
Yeah.
Oh well, that's it.
Is it hard to know when it's
Yes. People have to say to me, stop. You're overdoing it.
Okay, name's Ian Wells Sculpture Moulding. I was just going to mould this Minotaur. Start with a thin coat of rubber on top of him. Then I'll put some walls on him and a thick coat to start the moulding.
How long have you been working together then?
Oh gosh,
25 years?
something like that.
Something like that, yes.
Yes.
It takes about 5 hours for putting the rubber on and the fiberglass jackets. It's to make the whole mould ready for taking a wax out of. The rubber's going on today, and then I'll put the fiberglass jackets on another day.
Yes, well, once that's done, I'll know it's safe.
Yes.
And
yes.
I will stop fiddling with it.
Yes. The ability to leave sculptures alone and say they're finished. Very difficult.
I keep seeing things, oh, no, leave it alone, Olive.
A lot of your work is to do with myths, isn't it? Like,
Yes, mythology, yes.
What is it that appeals to you about that?
I like the drama. I like Icarus falling out of the sky because he didn't listen to his father. You know, don't fly too near the sun, your wings will disintegrate. But he didn't listen. I mean, he was, what, a boy, they don't listen to their dads. So he fell into the sea.
What happened to him when he fell into the sea?
Turned into an island.
He turned into an island.
Yes.
One of the Greek islands, I assume.
Yes. I've forgotten which one it was.
Uh-huh.
But anyway.
I didn't realise he turned into an island.
But that's all tied up with the Minotaur.
Is it?
Yes. Yes. He was fleeing from the king of Minos because Daedalus, who was Icarus's father, had designed the maze that the Minotaur lived in.
Right.
But he was able to tell Theseus how to get to the Minotaur
Right.
to kill him,
Right, yeah.
which happened. The king was furious and was out to kill Daedalus and his son, which was why Daedalus made the wings of eagle's feathers and wax to fly, you know, away sort of to be safe.
Oh,
But didn't work
so
all that well.
Yes.
But as I say, I like the drama. Probably not having enough drama in my own life.
One of the TV soap operas started doing Shakespeare. EastEnders, I think.
Oh, really?
They started doing the plots of Shakespeare, but putting them into EastEnders.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm an EastEnders fan.
Are you?
Yes.
Oh, right. Oh, you have to research it and go back to the episodes that they...
Oh.
I think the same can be done with the Greek legends, but I haven't seen it done in sculpture yet.
It's very fiddly, isn't it, what you're doing?
It's very fiddly and it sometimes goes wrong. I do struggle with it. It's not an easy thing to do.
No good having a shaky hand then.
No, it's not shaky hand sort of process, really. And now we have to let that dry before we can get the next process on, which is putting the walls on.
It's taken me 2 months to do this.
Uh-huh.
It's ridiculous.
That's the way it is nowadays, unfortunately.
There are days when I don't feel like doing anything. Shouldn't admit to that.
You
But
shouldn't admit to that, no. We're not having that.
in the olden days, that would have only have taken him a couple of weeks
Uh-huh.
at the most,
Right.
if that.
Oh, well.
Never mind, it got there in the end. I don't want it to be the last thing.
No, it won't be the last thing. Get another Minotaur done. Put this back when I'm finished with it.
Yeah.
And rest. Well, now the rubber casing and the fiberglass jackets have all finished. Now we're just taking the mould apart, depending on how it behaves, because sometimes the resin jackets get stuck. But if I've made them properly, then it should come apart.
Oh, there he is.
come off, I'm afraid. Can't find a wall. It's in there somewhere.
Is it all there?
So I have to destroy the piece to get to the...
Well, that's all right. I don't mind it being destroyed now. Looks as though he's dead.
There he is.
I'm glad I don't usually go through this, watching it come apart. Because it's quite nerve-wracking for me.
It is. I've got to... It's nerve-wracking for me as well.
Well, yes. Does it make it more nerve-wracking? You being the
With
sort
an
of...
audience, yes.
Yes. And there's no swearing allowed either.
No, well, usually there's quite a bit of swearing.
I'm sure there is. I don't mind. Swear if you want to. I do a lot of swearing.
So there we have the rubber, which takes the detail of the piece. This is the jacket, which gives a firmness to the rubber, so it keeps the rubber in place. And so what you end up with is we have the inside of the Minotaur, if that makes any sense. The hollow space which is going to be filled with wax and grog to make the bronze resin.
It's a big responsibility, isn't it, really?
What's that?
Well, looking after somebody else's work.
Well,
I want to get out what I put in.
yes.
Know what I mean?
The better the mould, the better the cast.
Quite, yes.
The better the wax, the better the
But
cast.
you always make a very good mould.
I try to, yes. So that's how that sits. So, like that. There we go. So you now have a hollow with all the detail you need to put the wax in and take the bronze out.
So you feel relieved now to see this?
Yes. Yes, I am, actually. Because until it gets to that state, I don't know what could happen to it, you know.
First of all, you make the wax. So you basically paint in the wax. You take the wax out, work on the wax on the seams, make it good so you've got a good cast. Then you've got to add runners and risers for the bronze to pour through the mould. You've got to put a ceramic core in the mould, and then you've got to make a ceramic shell. Then you've got to burn the wax out and pour the bronze in. And after that, you then break up the mould and you have a raw bronze, which you have to chase and fettle all the bits you don't need and polish it up and then patinate it. So there's an awful labour-intensive job to get a cast, and this is why you have a lot more painters than you do sculptors. You've got to be half mad.
Totally mad.
Yeah, you've got to be half mad to be a sculptor.
Never mind.
He'll be in the exhibition somewhere, along with many other pieces.
But I don't know if I'm going to be at the exhibition.
Of course you will be.
Might not be here.
I really want to thank you for coming out in such numbers. I think we have openings like this fairly frequently, and I don't think we've had as many people turn up as we have today. And that is a real tribute to this lady here. We go back,
Is it 40 years?
Olive, I hate to tell you this, it's very nearly 50.
Oh, wow.
And we've worked together
Well, all this time.
all this time. We don't choose to look after very many living artists. It's actually now a tiny number. And in terms of sculptors, we have the Frank Dobson estate. We've done an awful lot with Epstein and this lady. I'm extraordinarily choosy. I'm not interested in how big their reputation is. I'm really interested, and we are interested, in how great their work is. You would actually be surprised at how many very big names and Royal Academicians have asked us to look after them, because we're selling all over the world every day. And the answer, time and time again, is no. Because if the work is not real, we don't care how well it is selling at the time. We're not interested. We only have one time around here, and we want to make it right. I have to say, we've been privileged here to work with a lot of people, a lot of great artists and potters. It's been very special, our relationship with you. We've loved it. So thank you.